I'm happy right now because God answered my prayer and for the helping of this kind of a side.
My name is Ingram, currently 75 years old. I was born in Guyana. It used to be called British Guyana. It's on the northern coast of South America. I left there in 1968, resided in the U.S. for the past 56 years. Have I ever been married before? Yes, I have. The lady sitting next to me, what is our current status? Yes, we are engaged and we plan to be married. TBA, time to be announced. What ultimately made me start dating abroad, as I mentioned earlier, I was born in South America. It's a tropical country. It's on the northern coast of South America. I've resided in the United States for the past 56 years. I really want to get away from the cold. So there are several countries I've looked at. Guyana, where I was born, is one of them. Barbados, Panama, Belize, and the Philippines. I happened to be on YouTube one day and I saw an interview being done of expats living in Dumaguete. I started to pay attention. I said, wait a minute, this looks like a place I might want to go check out. So I started looking at more and more and more and more, and then I came across, I looked at several profiles. I saw Marilyn's profile, this beautiful young lady here, and I kept going back to it. I would look somewhere else, and I kept going back to her profile. I said, this is it. The other thing I really didn't care for is going to the banquets, sitting at a table with several women for a certain amount of minutes, and then move to another table. And I was like fishing. I didn't want to do that. So I ended up sticking with Marilyn. I found out what I needed to do to get in contact with her. I was told I need to sign I need to get an embarked form, I think it's called. And if she signs it, her information would be released, and that's exactly what happened. And here we are, and I say, yes! Okay, yeah. Marilyn and I corresponded. We met last December on the site, and we corresponded, texting back and forth until June when she signed the Ember form. And then we have been video chatting several times a day since then. We've been in communication. Do I think there are advantages to writing letters before physically coming to meet the person? I think so. I think you can learn if you are keen, if you pay attention to people, you pay attention to their communication, the way they communicate, the words they use, which you can be fooled, but someone would have to be very good to maintain that sense of deceitfulness for a long or continually rather. As we began to communicate, I began to learn things about her. You know, I think just from the communication, and then more so when the video started, but this is strictly written we're speaking about. I picked up a few things. I felt that she was an honest, sincere person, just from her words, certain words that she used. I took that chance. I think in addition, I think there's a time and a place for you to meet the right person or to come across the right opportunity. I just felt something there. As I said earlier, I kept going back to her profile and I would read it and read it and read it again. I would look somewhere else and I kept going back. I would read it and read it again. I said, yes, this is the one here. And that's it. So yes, there are advantages to communicating. We have been in communication for, this is our 12th month now. The end of this month will be 12 months. We have been communicating, first by writing, and then the last, since June. I don't recall when in June, in first mid-June we started communicating. And we've been on the phone, video chatting every day since June, yeah. So the plan was in motion, really, to come to the Philippines. It worked out greatly that I met her. And instead of going to stay in a hotel, she said, well, you know, you can stay at my place. And I said, fine, that's great. We both saved some money and I can stay here longer. Because if I'd gone to a hotel, I would not have spent more than 2 weeks. Right now, I do not plan to leave until the end of February. So I'll be here a while. I was looking for a woman who I felt. Ultimately, what I was looking for in a woman, I was looking for someone who I sensed to be loyal, sincere, would be faithful, trustworthy. Someone who I felt would make a good companion. As I mentioned, I have been married before a few times, and I'm willing to do this one more time, and that's it. I'm looking for, well, I'm not looking anymore. I was looking for a potential lifelong partner, and I found that person in Miss Marilyn. I'm here. This is a real woman, all woman, from here to there, all woman. I saw Marilyn on a YouTube video just after we had met. I think she was being introduced by Miss Rosalind. Rosalind was, you know. I thought that was a coincidence too, that we had just began video chatting, and there she was on a YouTube video. And I'm going, yes, yes, you know, this was meant to be. I just happen to believe in things like that. And believe it or not, I believe in prayer. I prayed for a woman like this. I did. I had a conversation with my father above. You know, I said, look, you know, I've done this before and just didn't work out. And I do want a lifetime partner. And he gave her to me. My future plans. My future plans are as follows. One, we shall be married as soon as possible. Two is to get her to the United States. She wants to pursue the culinary arts. So she will go to school there for that. And there's a college in the community I reside in back in the States in North Carolina. I'll get her enrolled and she'll start her training. We'll spend some time there in America after she completes her training, gain some experience, and then we're heading back to the Philippines, right, babe? Yes. Marilyn plans on going into business.
Ladies, if you are interested to going here, you can go here so that you can find your partner. And then in the times that you are settled to going married, then you are finding here because it is a good site. It is not the same with the other sites.
Visit the Philippines, meet the women, or woman in my case, go out on a date, get to know them. My personal experience from the time I got on Philippine airline in LA, the staff, everyone I dealt with in that plane who were Filipinos were very kind, very courteous. I heard horror stories before I got here, going through immigration, going through especially customs. I had no problem with immigration. The immigration officer was great. I said, look, I told him why. He asked me why I'm here, and I told him, I'm retired, I would like to live here. I met a young lady on a dating site. I have an engagement ring to put on a finger when I see her. Went to customs. So I say, get on a flight, head to the Philippines and meet the loved one of your life. That's my advice.
But there are reasons we'll never find out, like how Ready to get started? Sign up and connect with these real women.
Check out our website at
mymailorderbride.com.
Guess I'm